Good morning, Facebook fam. How are you? It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, back to start this week's segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. You guys, my faithfuls, you know the drill. Let me see those thumbs ups, those hearts, those happy faces. Let me know you guys are awake, happy to be alive, and ready to get your week started, ready to dig into this topic, get some wisdom on your mind so that we can go out and operate in wisdom. So how you guys doing? I'm doing all right. My weekend was awesome. I enjoyed a wonderful weekend with my family. Topped it all off with my extended family, which my mom and my brother. Was able to get them by the house and have some good times. So and some interesting conversation, which brings us to our topic this morning. So let me go ahead and see if I can get the queen on so that we can dig into this topic. Well, hello.
Good morning. How
They
are
didn't bring
you?
you out the green room?
Hi. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Hi, gorgeous. I had an
Good.
awesome time
Haven't
yesterday.
haven't seen you since
I
yesterday,
know,
last
right?
evening.
I know, I know.
Hi, everybody. How is everyone? I hope everybody had a nice weekend, nice, safe, social distance weekend, and you're back bright-eyed and ready to go.
I don't know how many of you experienced like fireworks until 4 or 5 in the
Oh
morning
my
on Friday,
gosh.
Saturday, Sunday. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what kind of sale they had going on and
I don't know, but
what
somebody
kind of
spent
savings
money.
package you have because that was a lot of money going up in smoke.
Real. And you know what? These weren't the little cheap ones because the sound of them and they were going up further than I've seen them even at the monument or those places where they do the fireworks.
Yeah,
They
it
were
was pretty, but uh,
yeah,
not
but
worth
oh
my
my
money
goodness.
spent
But I was
going up
just
in smoke.
I should have had my little calculator calculating, how much this could have done. Oh
Yeah,
my
that
goodness.
was a lot. That was like a whole
Such a waste.
wardrobe for some, a
Such a
car for
waste.
others, like some
Yeah. Yeah.
college savings. Um, but anyway, good morning. We're going to dig into this topic: protecting us from us when we are our own worst enemy. I had a quote. Did you guys see it? Did you guys see the quote?
Let me
Let me know
see. I
if you
don't even
saw
know if I
it.
saw. I need a, yeah.
I
I
had a
could have used
quote.
some of those fireworks to fund a new laptop.
If you saw the quote, put your thumbs up if you saw the quote. Um, but yeah, let's dig into that and let's uncover what that means. Um,
Mm.
again, for those who are new, we're in our fourth season. Actually, this week wraps up our fourth season, 16 episodes. And so Friday will be the last episode of the fourth season. That's crazy. Um, so we prefaced our fourth season with now it's time to get to work. We spent season 1, 2, and 3 talking about things that were on our mind. What makes us twerk, like well not twerk, what makes us work, what makes us tick. Well, for some of us, what makes us twerk. Um,
Did you say what
I
makes
I
it twerk?
did. It's early in the morning. I
Oh
look up.
my.
Um, no, that was for somebody.
What did you do after we left?
That was for somebody. I was a whole entire mommy when you left. That's what I did. I was a
Oh
whole
my
entire
goodness.
mommy until they drifted off to dreamland. Um, but we spent season 1, 2, and 3 talking about those things, trying to get to the root of us and how we can learn a little bit more about us so that we can begin to make that change. So it was just mainly casual conversation. It got a little deep, sometimes real deep. However, now we're in a season of let's get this work, let's make this change. And so we started um, the majority of our season with talking about our seeds, our children, and the soil that they need to be planted in, which needs to be a good soil, good foundation, the Word of God. And then we talked about that water, that fresh water that we utilize to keep them growing. That water that needs to be packed with nutrients and vitamins. Those people that we include in our village, how we strategically choose our village for the betterment of our flowers, our seeds, so that they can grow into good products of society. And so today, I want to talk about us. I want to talk about us as individuals. I want to talk about us as a people, as a culture, um, because it's necessary. A couple of things we'll be touching on, so you can get your fingers ready. Um, this weekend, This weekend had the potential of being a wonderful, beautiful, thought provoking, um, monumentous, or monumental, historic weekend. There were so many things going on, so many profound statements that were made. And one of the profound statements that was made this weekend was that we are our own worst enemy. That was one of the profound statements that was made. And how that was made, one of the ways, because I'm pretty sure there were others, was during a time where our babies should have been just carefree and enjoying life, enjoying all the festivities that came with this weekend, however that looked like for them, however their parents chose to celebrate, not celebrate, or just have a good weekend, still being stuck in this quarantine somewhat, um, turned into a very senseless, irritating, idiotic, um, not well planned out, just dumb act of violence. So one of our young kings, our seeds that should have been planted in soil, that should have been watered, or could have been watered with with nutrients, with those villages, the villages that help to give it what it needs to grow into what God had purposed for him to grow into, was was cut short because of ignorance, because of lack of common sense, um, because of the lack of thought, um, of where we are right now as a people and as a culture. And so, first, I just want to extend my condolences to anybody that is connected, which should be everybody at some point in the chart, some point. Um, Anybody that was connected to this young king, um, who had a whole entire path of life ahead of him, um, but was cut short because of us. And so the question is, how do we protect us from us? We see the marches, we see the protests, um, about uh, the need for protection from outside sources that would come and try to cut us down and stunt our growth and cause us to become extinct. Um, the second part of the movement, which is greatly as important, if not more, is how do we protect us from us when we are our own worst enemy? It's a difficult pill to swallow, especially being in the midst of everything that is going on. you see the groups out there that are like Black Lives Don't Matter until Black Lives Matter to Black Lives. You see those people out there, and whereas I absolutely am rooting for, running for, marching for, fighting for our Black lives to matter to all other lives um, in this nation. It is equally as important to me that our people, our culture, understand and begin to live in the notion that Black lives matter to us. And so, how do we begin to protect us from us? What do we do? What do we do? Um, we have people out there who are protecting us from Karen, Cheryl, whatever you want to call her. Um, you have people who are fighting and starting movements to protect us from the police. By they pull over, we pull up. You know, uh, what happens, or what part of the movement are we connected to when it comes to those who look like us? Um, that are ignorant enough and foolish enough to destroy something that looks just like them. What do we do? What movement do we have um, to help that? Because the other movement is working, thriving, it is doing well. We're still fighting, um, and I don't think we're going to stop until we can stop. Um, and so now that we got that ball up and running and rolling, there's another movement that is necessary because we can't fight a fight that at the end of the fight we still wiped out because of us. So I've given you enough time to type. I need some answers. I would like some answers. I would like to start a discussion um,
Please, please, yeah.
because most of you know by now that I'm a former police officer in DC. Um, I'm a pastor's daughter. Uh, I'm a well educated black woman in society, a mother of six, a dog, a cat, and two turtles, three turtles now. Um, and this is an everyday thought for me because I have young kings and queens who will be out into this society. And it is, you hear me say it all the time, it is necessary that we end up on the same page because when my children are out there, they're going to encounter your children. And it is absolutely important to me that your children are up to par because my children are going to be in this world with them. And I need my children to live because God has already shown me the promise that He has over my baby's life, and my baby's lives. So it is necessary. Like I'm hands on in this because it's important to me that when they get out there, that the forces that will already be against them, when they look up in the crowd, it don't look like us, don't look like them. So how do we protect us from us? We have liquor stores on every corner. Some of us woke up, so we woke. We staying woke, trying to wake everybody else up. So you know what that's about. You know what the concept of the projects is. Um, if you don't, look up the word project. um, you see in the District of Columbia uh, how even before the pandemic, the move of shutting down historical black churches was alive and thriving. Um, social services, um, welfare, how that system is set up to break up the family rather than bring them together, with women being able to have Section 8 housing as long as there is not a man in the house, which breaks up the family, because there is no head of the household, which should be the man. Um, yeah. So these systems are set in place. With all these systems set in place to tear us down and to destroy us, and to wipe us off the face of the earth practically, how do we sift through that as we're still fighting against that and begin to protect us from ourselves? Um, because we're self destructing. We're self destructing. A lot of us couldn't wait for this type of conversation. And it's real. It's real. I respected it all along. I just needed y'all to understand that Black Lives Matter. I needed everybody to understand that. So now I'm in my house. We starting this fourth season. We're getting to work, and so we're cleaning our house, cleaning home. It's necessary. We're wiping out ourselves, and not just, you know, people our age. Like we're cutting off our seeds. Like, meaning that which is necessary for us to multiply, and grow. We're deading that at the beginning. Like, like, we're getting older. Some of us, I had my last one over 40, but some of us are kind of like wrapping up that lifestyle, of having children. But our seeds, we're killing the seed before it's even planted good. And that's a problem, because we're fighting a fight that's going to end up being pointless, because even if we win the fight, there ain't nobody to celebrate with. We're killing ourselves. We're destroying ourselves. We're self-destructing. And it's, yes, those who participated in the slaying of this young king, this 11-year-old boy in Southeast Washington, the other night, they should be caught. They should be brought to justice, like real justice, like for real. This ain't about no, don't give him a hard time because he black and that white dude didn't get no. Yo, you're you need to be brought to justice. Justice needs to absolutely be served. Um, at the same time, there are a whole bunch of other people out there whose mindset is growing into that direction, that we need to save, that we need to reach, because we're destroying ourselves. That's not the only branch of destruction. We're being brainwashed, we're being distracted, you know, by one of our own. Y'all can try to pass him off to another race if you want, but if you look at him, he still look like us. Um, Kanye West. I don't understand the motive. Not trying to really. I just need the rest of us to stay together, um, and not lose focus, not get off track. Understand the trick of the enemy. Understand where we at and what we fighting for, and make wise decisions. That's it. You know, this ain't about, I like his music and he done started a church where he done got on a donkey and fell off. Like this, it's not even about all of that. Um, it's about making wise decisions so that we don't end up destroying ourselves. It's about, getting rid of that mentality of the white man's ice is colder, like we talked about last episode, and begin to support our own so that we can grow, so that we don't end up killing and destroying ourselves. All of those matter. Um, so I'm gonna let you talk, Mom. I'm gonna read for a little bit. I just wanted to give y'all some info, give you something to kind of like put together and mold and build and type. Good morning, Doris. How are you,
Leave it
beautiful?
at that. I'm speechless. Anytime you mess with my babies, you are messing with me. Um, Children are our future. They're our right now, here and now. And a lot has been said. You touched on a lot of key points. Um, this weekend, I spent a lot of time reflecting. I watched Glory, the movie Glory with Denzel Washington and some other characters. I watched it several times because, and I have the same emotions come out every time I watch it because I'm only reminded of how much our people suffered and died for this country, a country that gave and gives no respect to us as a people. And the story's the same over and over. The fact that we are have never been recognized as human beings. And another thing I did in addition to watching Glory, that movie, which to me is one of the best, that depicts a time where you know it depicts how much we gave for this country. And like I said, nothing's changed. You know, the only thing that's changed, well, I won't say it's changed, but has become more profound is that we are our worst enemies, as you said. This quote that I've heard repeated over and over again, and I myself have used it so many times. One of the oldest strategies for destroying a people is divide and conquer. I don't care how you slice the cake, it's going to come out the same. Divide and conquer. If the enemy can divide us as a people, they can conquer us. And that's what has been happening with the us going into our communities and destroying and rioting and burning and looting. We're taking away our what few resources we do have. And I think about, every time I hear or see the rioting and looting, I think about back in the 60s, how long it took to rebuild uh, the businesses that people have worked so hard for. And when we talk about killing our babies, you're killing our resources. To me, it's the same as looting, as burning, because you're, as Lau said, you're destroying our future, you're destroying our present, because these babies are our hope. And innocent as they are, I mean, and of course, we say, yeah, kids are mischievous and all of that. Yes, sure, we all are. But the point is, why for now? Why? And I think if I live 100 years, I'll never have the answer. But another thing I'd like to share, just a portion, the irony of Frederick Douglass's speech on the 4th of July. And no, I'm not going to read all of it, but I really need to bring this to your attention. He says, "What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all other days in the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim." Talk about a man ahead of his time. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity, your sound of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants brass fronted, impotent, your shout, your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception. Why for not? Why? Think about all the money that went up in smoke. And I'm thinking of babies who are starving,
Yes.
babies who are not going to school or not wanting to go to school for either an empty stomach. Yes, true. Now the schools have gotten, they've come to the point where they are serving breakfast and meals for those who are unable. But still, but still, you know, and this man, Frederick Douglass, way back then, 1800s, what's in it different from what he was saying, what he saw, than what's going on now?
Mhm.
Over and over and over and over and over again, we're destroying ourselves. The question is, what can we do? What can I do? Make it personal. What can I do to um, stop the madness? And I think that's a question each person should and can ask themselves. Make it personal. What can I do? What is it that's causing us to destroy ourselves? And I won't say unknowingly. In many cases, knowingly. Case in point was Kanye. And I saw this coming with all of his pushing Trump, pro Trump and pro Trump. And then all of a sudden you switch gears and you're going to say, you're going to run for president. You haven't even gone through, the rhythmics of, their certain protocol that has to take place
Mhm.
before you can even get in the race, even as a write-in. So, another distraction, another distraction. And my thing is in our communities, we've been talking about taking charge of your communities in terms of number one, voting, number one, educating ourselves. This is your community. You live here, wherever you're living. Take charge of that. Take ownership to that. This is my community. I am not going to allow it. Back in the day, the neighbors, we couldn't, my family, my siblings, we couldn't do anything without our neighbors, you know, tapping into it. Junior, why are you doing it? Why are you throwing rocks? I never forget my brother, with some of the neighborhood kids, they were throwing rocks at who knows what. And something broke. And of course, all the other guys scattered. Who was left but Junior, my brother? And oh my goodness, my neighbor saw, happened to, she conveniently was peeping out her window and she saw. And my parents, before they even got home, knew of the incident. And my brother was dealt with. Even after he shared, that he didn't actually throw the rock. And this is something I'm telling kids. Even though you didn't commit the crime physically, if you're with someone, if you know someone, if you know a child in your neighborhood is troubled and whatever, this child came from somewhere in your neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So we have to continue, and we've said this over and over again, a recurring theme. You are your brother's keeper. You are your sister's keeper. And my thinking, every time I hear, and when I was teaching and my kids would come back, so and so, everybody's all sad and their heads hung down because one of their friends had been shot. And I've had over my career at least a half dozen or more where the kids were shot, or they got caught up in a bad robbery or attempt or whatever, or a stray bullet. It's saddening. It's saddening. It's depressing.
It's disturbing.
And you know,
It's
and the thing of it,
irritating.
these kids belong to somebody. They not just, they don't have a living in a house paying rent themselves. We have to be our brothers and sisters keeper. So they start from somewhere. Are we going to just sit there? Oh yeah, little Johnny, he goes out every day and I see him snatching this little old lady's purse, or I see him sitting in front of the corner store, and then when he thinks nobody's looking, he goes in and runs out with a bag of something. He didn't have any money, so where did he get it from? Or mothers where the kids come home with items and they know they didn't purchase them. It's all sorts of things that we can do, but we have got to tap into the system, our community, and come together. Another good thing that I see happening, I know in my community, we have the neighborhood associations. You know, um, I know a lot of our work schedules will, in the old way, our work schedules did not accommodate us being able to attend sometimes the meeting, but with technology and so forth, there's no excuse for us not being connected in some way to our community. Wherever we live, be a part of that community. That's just my suggestion, and something that I have, my husband, the colonel, before he passed, that was something we did, was to maintain that connection with our community association. But we've got to do something. When every time I read this, Frederick Douglass's speech, I'm like, hey, this has been happening forever and a day. Why have we not put our feet down and say, hey, not in my neighborhood?
To ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see the millennials, what do they call them? Generation Z, who out there now? I don't know. Whatever letter of the alphabet. They
Yes,
rising up, and everybody, power to the people, while we standing up against police officers, we standing up against, those who may tear the black community down. Are we afraid of us? Um, because if we're afraid of us, it's a problem. The reason why it's a problem is because what we're fighting for is the fact that people are killing us because they're afraid of us. You feel what I'm saying? We're
you know,
fighting a fight that is against those who are killing us because they're afraid of us. So my question is, are we afraid of us? And if we're afraid of us, we need to pause on that march, right? We need to pause on that march because it makes absolutely no sense if we're afraid of
you're not
us.
making sense. And everything that, and everything that Frederick Douglass was saying then, we are saying now, some of us. And yet we can invest time, money, all kinds of resources into sending up smoke. For what? What are the benefits? At the end of the smoke, and I always used to be, when I first moved to the DMV, I always used to be so, like, I'm looking like, wow, like one of the westerns back in the cowboy days, and I'm a cowboy fan. Back in the western days, where you see, just the remnants of a town that has been looted, burnt out, and all of this. And in DC, every single time and after the 4th of July weekend, you see it's like cloudy
Yeah, just
smoke
smoke.
and all over the place. you see the remnants of the fireworks. Now I'm telling you, I promise you, I don't know where these folk got these things. Well, first of all, forever since I've been in this area, it's been illegal to do the fireworks in Maryland. I know DC, right across the line, but however, it, it befuddles me. Where are people getting these fireworks that, I mean, we're talking professional fireworks, like boom, like yesterday and
That didn't
all
sound
for the
professional,
past
but
week.
it's a little harder than
For
that. But yeah.
the past week, that's all I've been hearing. I live back up in the woods. I had to peek out my window and see if they weren't in my property, because the boom was loud, and to the point where even last evening over at my daughter's, my ears, like, for a moment, momentary, something happened. The sound was so profound. Where are they purchasing or getting this professional fireworks stuff? Where? So, it's just like another thing, and I'm going to sit down.
You are.
It's just like way back in the day, I'll never forget. It's like people, just the in the community, in our community, us people of color, all of a sudden I remember when the drugs became widespread. Where are they getting them from? And some of these drugs came from over the waters, other places. But how'd they get here? They didn't just fly on the bird's wings. They were brought here. What's the movie? Several movies. Cotton Comes to Harlem, and a lot of those movies that depicted the drugs being brought in by unsaid enemies or people. Divide and conquer. If I can divide y'all, I can conquer you. As simple as that. And for me, not that that's the only answer or solution or problem, but it is certainly one that has kept us divided as a people, because we fall. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
And
And that's it. That's the thing that gets us every single time. Kanye, divide and conquer. If I can get in there and make them, if I can, just if I can get in there and run for president, then those idiots who follow me, that's going to divide the vote. And what's going to happen? 45 will be in there again. And the sad thing is, uh, what's the little chick name that's doing all the little talking fast? Uh, she's getting all this publicity now, divide and conquer, where she's got all the answers why, with the police brutality, with da 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 da, with da da da. We fall for anything.
so my concern, is this, and my question is this, right? You ever realize that when we're faced with a situation, right? We're faced with a situation that, we are so adamant about rectifying, about making right. Um, Resources to distract and destroy are readily available, but the resources to break cycles and build, we have to struggle to find. Like, even in this situation, you got the pandemic going on, you got the Black Lives Matter movement going on, and
Lord,
never in my life, I'm over 40, never in my lifetime have I seen neighborhoods being able to get the supply of fireworks that have gone off the entire weekend.
I don't get it.
I remember hearing police sirens all over the place, like every 5 minutes because somebody was calling a report and sounds of gunshots and it was fireworks or whatever. I remember as a police officer going to call after call after call after call because fireworks were going off. At what
And
point do we actually think about the term that we use, stay woke? Um, walking in wisdom, whatever you want to title it, whatever thing you got going on and what you call it. At what point do we stand in that wisdom and look up, like just stop and look around and notice that every time the smoke clears, we're drop dead? Literally, like every time the smoke clears, it's one of us that's on the ground. Like this is a war. It's a war. It's a spiritual war. It's a war. It's a war. It's a
spiritual
war.
warfare.
It's a war. And
And
every time the smoke clears a little bit,
mm,
we're the ones left on the ground. Like distraction.
yeah,
Pennsylvania fireworks. Like, those who have trained their ear to know what a gunshot sounds like, even those people, like even us, are sitting there like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? Distraction. And so in a nation where we are being hunted as prey, in a nation where they don't want us to survive, whoever your they is, in a nation where they don't want us to survive, in a nation where we are looked at as animals, in a nation where we are looked at as lower than the lowest, we participate in things that distract our ears, things that distract our eyes, things that distract our mind. And when the smoke clears, we're the ones on the ground. We're the
that's a
ones on
good,
the ground.
very
Like
excellent.
literally, when the smoke cleared the other night, an 11-year-old black young man was on the ground. But we fight in Black Lives Matter,
Life
Black
is
Fathers
over. His
Matter.
life
This
is
my I'm
over.
because I have a black son and all of those things. They sound real cute. They sound real cute, but we are the only culture, it seems like, that we thrive off of sayings and signs, and we just love holding picket signs. We love marching. We like the strongest legged people I know because we will walk and march, and then afterwards we just go back in the house, close our blinds,
Yeah, what did I
and
ask you
mind our
last
business.
evening? I asked you last evening, and when we were sitting out there just chilling, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, all the fireworks. And I'm like, where are the policemen in this town? You know what I'm saying? And the thing of it is another distraction, and we're giving them the distractions. We're giving because the first thing that is said is, um, you know, how, how you can talk about police brutality when y'all are being brutal. There's brutality in your own community. You know what I'm saying? You're giving the enemy a weapon to destroy us, and we are destroying us. They don't have to destroy us because we're doing it to
They
ourselves,
don't even
as
get a
if
chance.
cancer,
They don't
as
even
if
get a chance,
cancer,
really. Like they get in where they fit in. Like
you know, as if cancer wasn't doing enough. Then you have this pandemic with the virus doing us in, as if that's not taking us out fast enough. Oh, let's help them. We're going to take us out. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do get it, but I don't get it. And just watch during this whole thing with the elections. I tell you, while we're busy killing each other, um, the enemy is just like a squirrel, storing up nuts, storing pulling out all the stops, you know, and we're letting them. Um, it's a funny thing because in La's neighborhood, we used to joke about this, we still do. Um, La, just dealing with her family, with our family. There was a time when they couldn't even blow their horn or talk loud in their neighborhood, and the neighbors were sending out. Remember that they're sending out, either sending the police out to check things. You know what I'm saying? So concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
They saw
concerned.
these
But
young black, this young black couple with all these kids.
yeah, and I'm telling you, it befuddles me to the nth level how these loud fireworks way past 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, and I ain't see not one. I didn't see not one police car or one policeman riding like, oh, we had a report for, loud noise. You're gonna call the cops for, say, a baby crying, but you can't investigate or complain about this loud boom.
It's like we've been brainwashed, So those who know us, like they know, we got a stage in our backyard. We do a backyard soul fest every summer. Not this summer, y'all won't be coming here, coronavirus, and I love my kids. But
Oh,
every summer we did a backyard soul fest, flyered the whole neighborhood. So before we were just inviting people, they were like, "Oh my gosh, black people," and the cops was rolling up. Didn't understand that we had connection with the cops, so it kind of went nowhere. But you see things like that happening, and you're ready to call up the cops, and you're ready to complain. We had people bringing inspectors to make sure that we were able to do what we was doing, not knowing who they was dealing with. Already had our paperwork ready and knew half the people who was showing up. You know, but they were ready to call the cops, right? When they saw that we were doing something positive in the neighborhood. So now, on a day where all of these people could be doing something else, we're bringing them together, with music, with entertainment, showcasing our young people, showcasing our local talent, so that they know that you ain't got to go to California, you ain't got to go to New York, to be somebody, to be treated like you somebody if you good at your craft. We were celebrating them here. And so people got to come out, and we made this the Merriweather Pavilion, right? People we utilized what God had blessed us with, all this daggone yard, and had people pulling up, showing up, lawn chairs and everything, and you calling the police on that, right? But we out here bringing our babies together. You calling the police because you look out your window and it's a carnival going on at the corner house, and you got horses short of lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! And you calling the cops, and we're saving lives. You know what I'm saying? But the moment
but
you
you,
see somebody arguing in the street, you close your blinds because you scared. But we marching because people killing us because they scared. People are afraid of us, so they hate us because they are afraid, and they're afraid because they don't know us, right? They can't understand us. They don't understand how we work. You know what I'm saying? And so they're wiping us out. We got that march down pat. Got it down pat. Now we look in our own backyard at our own people, and we're afraid to step up. We're afraid to march. You can stand up and Karen face, you know what I'm saying, with a gun barrel, pointed at your face, right? And you talking about how she done bumped your 15-year-old daughter, but we're afraid to walk up to our own brother and be like, "Yo, man, come on now, put the gun down." Like, come on, man. Like, let me tell you, from the beginning, little kids used to walk past here, and I'm old school. You're not gonna walk past my yard and my kids sitting on a porch, and you using foul language, and they sitting there, little young innocent kids, and you cursing, and your curse words don't even make sense with your sentence, and I'm not gonna say nothing. Now, delivery is everything. Delivery is everything. Some people ain't got that umph like everybody else, where, when you talk, everybody just be like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to creep in there, hey, I'm just not that chick. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm an ex police officer. So, like, my stance is a little different and my reflexes are out of this world. So, but we got to stop being afraid of ourselves. Like, we can't convince other people not to fear us if we fear us. Like, that's a problem. That's a problem for me. So I'm talking to us now. I'm talking to us. I'm still a part of the Black Lives Movement. I'm still part of the Black Lives Matter, versus the whole All Lives Matter thing. But now I'm talking to us. Like I done came back to the house. We sitting on the porch, and now we talking. We can't convince anybody else to not fear us and wipe us out if we're fearing us and allowing us to wipe us out. That makes
And Eileen,
absolutely no sense.
I have this question for us. Think of your most prized, I won't say possession, I'll say your most prized something, something that has brought you joy, something that you love, someone. Let's keep it real. A person. If you have children, your children, your husband, if you have a husband, your wife, you have a wife. Uh, if one of these persons, human beings, if someone broke in your house or what have you, and one of these human beings whom you love dearly was attacked, would you just stand there? Or would you make some kind of attempt to either rescue or get help? Or would you just stand there or run in your bedroom, close the door? And that's what I'm saying. Protecting us from us. Do we just stand, run back in our homes, nice and comfy, and hide and pretend that nothing happened? Or do we, um, I call it, no offense taken, the white girl syndrome in those horror pictures where, they hear a noise and they're going to go down in the basement in the dark, you know, bravely. Do we just stand back and act like nothing happened? Or do we continue to let the enemy attack our babies, our children, our loved ones? That's the question for the day. And I think about a lot of the songs back in the day, and just like with Frederick Douglass, this problem has always been around. I'm thinking about the Temptation song, I'm not sure, I can't recall the name, but people going out, people coming in. Why? Because the color of their skin, run, 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 but you sure can't hide. You can run,
You got
look it
that
up.
one. I
Old
know you
heads
do
know,
know that.
OGs know what I'm talking about. The problem has always been here. But when does it stop? When do we take the upper hand? You gotta take the upper hand, Celie. You can't just stand there and act like it didn't happen or that it's not happening. Face your fears.
And I know we running out of time, and so y'all already know I'm trying to get this work, and I
I'm
need
done.
y'all to be with me. So we,
I'm
we
done.
we gotta. This is not over. Like, this is one of those topics that I can't just end, and then everybody just gone and we just let
We
it
gotta
go.
do
So we gonna
something.
be absolutely back again tomorrow talking about the same thing. And if it
Amen.
take all week, we just gonna take all week. But somebody posed a question, and I wanna leave you guys with this question and my thoughts behind it. Do you think we fear us because we fear we will be harmed or killed by one of us more than by anyone else?
By one of us
If
more than one
that
of
is if that is our stance, then we're standing in a bigger mess than we
we're
really
doomed.
believe, or we
We're doomed.
really are. We really think we are, because that goes back to what I said earlier. We're fighting a fight that's going to be pointless, because when the fight is won, if it's won, when it's all said and done, the smoke clears and we the ones laid out on the ground. So we really didn't win at all. So, like, we
At
can't be
all.
fighting a fight to have other people not fear us when we can't stop fearing us. Like, those are one of the things that create that own worst enemy. Like, some of the things that represent your own worst enemy: worry, fear, doubt, anger, poor self esteem, self value. Those are things that create that whole I am my worst enemy. So if I fear me, I am the enemy. I am the enemy. Bump anybody else at this point, because even if I get other people not to fear me, I'm still destroyed before I start, because I fear me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if that is the mindset, like, let me tell you, like, if if we are not afraid to stand together and face off with a bunch of trained killers, talking about police officers, because they are trained killers. We were trained. Stop the threat. Stopping the threat means stopping the computer. The computer is your head and your chest. That's a killer because if you stop it, you're dead. Right? So we can face off with trained killers as a group of people. While they got shields, weapons, we can face off with them to fight for us to matter, right? And then we come home and the same people we marching with, we afraid. Like I'm confused. And if that is our thing, if that is our motive, if that is what we're sitting on, then we have a bigger problem than is letting on or that is showing. Like we gotta really dig in deep and figure out what like how to fix that, because all the other stuff really doesn't matter if we can't have the same courage, the same stance when it comes to our own people. Like I can't be afraid to walk out my in my yard and I see somebody doing something and I'm afraid to open my mouth, or I'm afraid to get on the phone and she Karen, I'm Quanisha. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling like, yo, I'm about to go out here. You might want to pull up. And hopefully before you pull up, I done already, got them to disperse. You know what I'm saying? Like there has got to be some intellect mixed in on this whole movement thing. There's got to be some wisdom mixed into all of this, because like it makes no sense. Like what we doing is pointless. What we doing is pointless. We're doing nothing but blowing smoke. We doing nothing but blowing smoke. You know what I'm saying? And so I need you guys to I need you, because we done ran out of time. Like I knew we would, but I need you guys to really think about this, because I'm gonna come back. We coming back tomorrow, to talk about this, because without uncovering this and coming up with a solution to this part, the marching is just exercise. And so we gonna end real strong, but we gonna end in the same place we started. We're gonna be strong, but we gonna end in the same place we started. Um, because if we don't fix this, we just exercise. We just exercising, y'all. We just out there just stretch before you walk. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is serious and it needs to be uncovered. And we need to find a solution. And we can't be afraid. We can't doubt that our part is not going to be worth anything. We can't be so angry that we lose focus on what needs to happen. In order for us to win the fight, the real war, we got to fix what's in our house, what's in our own backyards. And so I'm about results. I'm about getting that work in. Like I hate just talking about a thing and then that's it. So as we end this today, let it not end in your brain. Like come up with solutions. Let's talk about this tomorrow. Protecting us from us. What's the first step? Protecting us from
Are you
us.
part of the problem or part of the solution?
That's it,
And
right?
the
That's the hook.
my last statement: the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
And those who got the quote at the beginning. So what I said was, what's holding you back is the belief that something is holding you back. There are plenty of difficult obstacles in our path, but don't allow yourself to become one of them. Let's not be in the way of progress, because it again, it's pointless to win the fight, and when the smoke clears, we can't even celebrate because we all wiped out. We may have wiped them out, but we dead too. It's pointless. Like you win a war to not be able to like come. It's pointless. So how do we protect us from us? Yeah, that's what we talking about tomorrow too, and we gonna go deeper.
Love you guys.
So thank you for this time. Y'all got time to get your thoughts together because we talking about it again tomorrow. I love you. My mama loves
Love you.
you. Most importantly, God loves you, and you know that. And that's why it's time for us to have these conversations and then to walk away from the conversations and put in the work. So we absolutely will be we getting some people together. So you ain't gotta walk alone, yo. We marching, we getting together, marching on Black Lives Matter Road, Black Lives Matter Plaza. It's marching in our neighborhoods. Let's do that.
And your assignment for tomorrow is to come back with your personal solution. Don't worry about whether it's going to work or you think it's going to work. What can you do to protect us from us?
Hey, that's the
Love
hook.
you guys.
Talk about it. All right, so it's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, wrapping up yet another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. It's been real, it's been deep. It's Monday. You know, we go deep on Mondays and we're going to go deep all week because we about getting that work, right? Trying to see results. So until tomorrow, 7:30, bright and early, get something on your mind. Remember to walk in purpose and not just on purpose. I love you. See you tomorrow. Holla at your girl. Peace out.
Classy, beautiful, mighty, 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 classy, mighty woman, classy,